What if I told you that in today's NBA, there was an NBA player that could do everything right and he had no weaknesses in his game? And when you think of a player like this, you think of guys like LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Giannis, and maybe even a guy like Steph Curry. But what if I told you that this player only played an average of 5 minutes last season? His name is Kyle Kuzma. All jokes aside, I'm talking about Bol Bol here. The 2019 draft class was one of the best draft classes we've seen in years. It had players like Zion Williamson, Ja Morant, RJ Barrett, even guys like Darius Garland and DeAndre Hunter. But there were also some gems in this draft like PJ Washington, Cameron Johnson, Tyler Hero, and most importantly, Bol Bol. Now I could talk all day about Bol Bol and tell you guys how good he really is, but I do want to use an example of just how scary Bol Bol can be. Now I'm going to play a clip from the best NBA YouTuber, well besides myself. He made a video about Bol Bol of a couple years ago right before the 2019 NBA draft talking about how scary he could be. Of course, the link to his channel and this video will be in the description below. Anyways, take it away, Jimmy.
Imagine you create a player on 2K. You max out his height, max out his wingspan, crank his offensive skill sets way up. And I'm not talking about the stereotypical big man skill sets, strength, post moves, things like that. I'm talking about all of them. Outside game, inside game, mid-range, vision, touch, passing. And just for shits and giggles, max out his shot blocking while you're at it. As far as all of those other attributes, well, you ran out of VCs, so you just leave them where they're at. You can work on those later. And bada bing, bada bang, you've got Bol Bol.
And what I said about Bol Bol only playing 5 minutes last season on average, yeah, that wasn't a lie or a joke. Now you would think that a player like this that I'm hyping up, a player that can do all this stuff would get a lot of playing time and that he'd be one of the best players in the league, right? Well, actually, he doesn't get any playing time and it's not justified whatsoever. In fact, Denver has the ability to run one of the scariest lineups in the NBA and yet they're not taking advantage of it. And if you didn't need any more context about Bol Bol and why he's so good, let me just explain one more thing, that in college, he shot 52% from the three-point line. 52% as a 7'2" center. See, back in the 80s, ironically when Manute Bol Bol's dad was around, all you really need to do to be a center was just be really tall and be able to block. You could have even been fat and somewhat tall and you still would have been an efficient center. See, a big problem with centers that are over 7 feet tall, there's a big issue that they're not really able to be mobile, they can't really move, they don't have a whole lot of things they can do besides just obviously get rebounds and all the other stuff. You see, centers nowadays are starting to actually be a little bit smaller. You got guys like Bam Adebayo who's 6'8" that is a starting center. You got guys like Joel Embiid who's only 6'10", Cat who's 6'10". People are starting to go down in height. I mean, which would make a lot more sense because nowadays centers have to move and be able to space the floor, and that's exactly what Bol Bol can do. So you might be asking, what is the weakness in his game? And to be honest, he doesn't really have a weakness. I guess the only weakness you could say is the same of Kevin Durant, and that's that they could afford to put on a little more weight. But actually, if we're comparing players, Kevin Durant and Bol Bol are two really good examples. Both are really fast, both can shoot the ball at an efficient rate, both players have moves to their arsenal that are very similar. They're essentially somewhat the same player. Now obviously Bol Bol is not on the level of Kevin Durant, and I'm not saying that, I'm just directing to his playstyle. Now the reason that maybe a whole lot of people aren't really being able to see Bol Bol and why he's not getting a whole lot of playing time is the team that he's on. He's on the Denver Nuggets, and obviously Bol Bol is a center. However, the Denver Nuggets have one of the best centers in the league in Nikola, jokic. So yeah, it's not exactly ideal for Bol Bol to be a starter on that team. I mean, you would at least think that he's a somewhat decent six-man, right? Or that he would be in the rotation. No, in fact, Bol Bol was barely in the rotation at all. Now this year, he appeared in 32 games and he only did start in 2 games. I believe those were later on during the year, but he averaged a whopping 2.2 points per game. But if we look at his individual stats, for example, like a 37, almost 38 3-point percentage and having a 43 field goal percentage, we can see that he's an efficient player when he's on the court. And we see that like even in the summer league and even the G League, when Bol Bol's in and he's a starter and he's getting a lot of playing time, he's doing really well. I mean, you cannot get a lot of points, you can't really do a lot if you're not getting playing time. That's just how basketball works. And to be honest, it's not like Bol Bol like proved us like, oh, that the haters were right or that Bol Bol can't play ball. He's just never gotten a chance, except ironically in the NBA bubble. For those like 3 days when he had that really good game, everyone was thinking like, oh, this is the best player in the league, he's unstoppable. All the NBA YouTubers were making videos, all the news articles and stuff like that, and guess what happened? They barely played him after that. Bol Bol played 7 games, not only during the NBA bubble, but the whole NBA season, which made no sense to me. And let's keep in mind the fact that the Denver Nuggets made the Western Conference Finals, and I believe it went to 6. So it's not like, oh, that they had a first round exit or they didn't make the playoffs. They had plenty of times to put him in, and he rarely played. To be honest, I don't know what's going to happen to Bol Bol. I think his rookie contract will be up in a couple years. I mean, but they're only really playing him in the G League for the most part. That's where he was playing earlier this year, ironically, when he did really good. So to be honest, I don't know where exactly Bol Bol would fit. There's a lot of teams he can go on, and apparently I was wrong. He's not a center, he's a power forward. Do you know how many teams could use him and how scary of a lineup would it be? And to be honest, the Denver Nuggets have showed no absolute signs of Bol Bol like even gonna be used whatsoever. So to be honest, I don't know what's gonna happen to him in his career. There's a really good chance that Bol Bol could just fall off the face of the earth. There's a good chance that he could become a really successful NBA player, but someone needs to give him a chance. Someone needs to trade for him at least and give him the opportunity to show himself. There are lots of teams that could use a power forward of his skill set. He can do things that I've never seen in a player besides players like Kevin Durant. But the thing is, Bol Bol is taller and has a way better defensive ability. There is nothing bad about Bol Bol's game, and he doesn't get the recognition that he should. See, Manute Bol's career ended only because of a really bad knee injury. However, though, he was 7'7", and yes, at that point he wasn't like Bol Bol where he can move around like that. He was really limited to shooting and rebounding, which he was a really good shooter, by the way, just like his son Bol Bol. To be honest, I'm looking everywhere and I've seen nothing bad about Bol Bol's game. So to be honest, I can't tell you why Denver won't play him. I mean, he's not even in the rotation at all. If you put him in the rotation, the Denver Nuggets have the opportunity to be an NBA championship caliber team. Last year they got swept by the Phoenix Suns, and yes, they did not have Jamal Murray, but still, they did not play good as a team. And Aaron Gordon, yeah, I might get a lot of hate for this, but Aaron Gordon's overrated. To be honest, at this point, I'd rather take Bol Bol than Aaron Gordon because Bol Bol can do a lot more things that Aaron Gordon can't do. And to be honest, it's scary to me that they're not using him. Either they're saving Bol Bol for like a war or something, or they're just not going to use him at all. Now, I'm like 99% sure when Bol Bol's contract does end, his rookie contract, that he will end up signing to a different team and that he will go to another team and be very successful. I don't care where he goes, he's going to do very, very well if he gets the opportunity he deserves. To be honest, the only excuse I can really think of is that, oh, maybe they think that Bol Bol's body isn't ready for the NBA, but let's keep in mind, Bol Bol doesn't need to be really muscular to play good defense or at all. He doesn't need that. Bol Bol has enough skill as it is and has a really big wingspan. I believe it's a 7'8" wingspan. What Bol Bol lacks in muscle, he makes up for skill, IQ, and his defensive ability. The fact of the matter is that Bol Bol's talents are being wasted, and honestly, no one can do anything about it except the Denver Nuggets. If the Denver Nuggets decide to give him a lot more playing time this year and a little bit of an upgrade, maybe even, I don't know, starting him in a couple games, trying some new lineups out, then I think that the Denver Nuggets will be one of the scariest teams. Keep in mind, they also did lose a player like JaVale McGee, so they do have a lot more depth at the center position. So to be completely honest, he could get a lot of playing time. With that being said, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you do leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, turn on post notifications. Man, thank you guys so much for watching this video. The support on the channel has been crazy as hell lately. Honestly, I had a lot of fun doing research on this video. I do want to give a shout out to my best friend X, who actually he's been telling me to make this video for like weeks now, and I've kind of been procrastinating it, but I said why not. Seemed like a fun video to make. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one. Have an amazing day, take care, peace. If you have made it to the end of the video, here are 2 videos on the screen that I think you guys will really enjoy. Anyways, cue the outro.